right. Mic check. Yo, CrossFitter, what's going on? All good, man. You're one of the, yeah, doing all right. You're one of the first ones here. If I could get a video check, I think I heard you pop into the stream. Uh, can you see my video by any chance on Discord? One sec. Yo, what is going on, fam? Cool. So we'll give it about 5 minutes to let some people pop in. Gonna get the stream all figured out for you guys in the Discord because we should be up already. But yeah, we'll give it about 5 more minutes, so I'll kind of let some people stream through. Yes, sir. Yeah, we did it last week, or we had announced it last week, and I totally forgot to kind of announce it in the live stream, but we ended up doing it for the people that were here. So yeah, they said they're giving 100 ETH away. If it's 100 ETH, that's pretty wild. It's like that's a nice chunk of change right there. Yeah, I think it's $100 in ETH, if I'm not mistaken. All right, can you guys see that stream now? If you guys are in the Discord, cool. I'm gonna bring in the chat overlay. So if you guys start to chat inside the Discord, for those that are in the Discord, you guys should see your guys' message start to pop up if you type them in AMA chat. We are streaming through multiple platforms, so welcome if you guys are outside of the Discord itself. We are streaming through Twitter and should be streaming also through Twitch. We will be getting those links posted in the Discord. And also for those people who are here right now, we're going to go over this further on once we truly get started. But if you guys do have a question, I highly suggest to use the link that I'm going to drop within probably 5 minutes or so, just so that you guys can pop onto the actual stream itself, and so you guys can ask questions and they can actually be heard through the live stream itself. It should just be a quick link, no special software needed. All you do is click it. I could pop you in. You can ask your question, share your screen if you'd like. So yeah, pretty inclusive. So again, if you guys have any questions during kind of the live stream, I will be dropping the link again, probably within about 5 minutes. So yeah. Good to see the chat overlay is working. Alright, Jap, what up? Speaking of Jap. Jap, I think I'm good. I think I got it figured out. Yeah. I just don't want to make like echoes or anything like that. So I don't know if people have to like mute me on a certain portion or if you're getting double feedback or anything. Alright. Cool. Getting some more people chiming in here. Again, for those in the Discord, welcome. You guys will be eligible for the $100 ETH giveaway that we'll be doing just for holders here. Yeah, I think it's $100 in ETH. I don't think it's 100 ETH. But yeah. So again, we'll give it about maybe 2 more minutes, and then we'll actually jump right into the tool itself. And as I say that, I'm actually going to drop the invite link for those that actually have an Alpha Sharks itself. If they can, you guys can click this link here, and if you guys wanted to come in, I can pop you guys into the stream, up to 10 people at the same time. So again, if you guys have any questions that you guys were looking to get answered and wanted to be on stream, you should be able to click that link, and I could be able to just chime you in. But yeah, with that being said, we'll get started. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take off the chat overlay. You guys, I can still highlight the messages that you guys have. If you guys have any questions, if you guys don't want to click the link below, you guys can still type out the message and I can highlight them to pop up through the live stream itself. So I guess we'll end up getting started. So today's overview, we'll be going over the not only the Alpha Sharks view extension, but also going over the overview on the trending page that we kind of have here. And for those who have kind of been in the sessions before, you kind of know how we kind of break down the actual trends of what we're looking for with the volume itself. Oh, I already see somebody in the queue. Again, if you guys have a question, definitely type it out and I can start to bring you up. I see 13th is in the queue already, so I'll be getting to you ASAP. One of the first things in Alpha Shark's view, or the extension that we're going to be looking at here, is the trending tab. Ideally, once we look at the actual trending tab, this is one way I like to utilize to see what's in play. And personally, I like to look at volume itself. So a particular metric I like to see is normalcy within volume. So on a particular time frame, so whether that's a 30-minute or a 5-minute or a 1-minute chart, ideally I'm looking for volume or abnormal volume across multiple time frames, because what this is telling me is that volume is just one factor within our supply and demand model. And if we can have abnormal demand coming in with somewhat of a limited supply, or just enough demand to overtake the supply, then our price is going to actually rise at that point. And that's one thing that we're always going to be looking for, is the volatility. And how we get volatility is through volume. So this is going to be one of the very key measures I use to see where the money's flowing, where are people putting their money at. So I'll be looking here on let's say a 30-minute or a 15-minute even. And I just want to see what's quote unquote normal for the day, or for within the last 15 minutes. And we're seeing 0.49, 0.58, 0.18, and notice this, we have 1.49. Notice the 1.49 is 2 to 3 times more than the ones that we just looked at within this little box here. That is something to take note of, because again, we want to see abnormal volume. And when we mean abnormal volume, we mean volume that is not normal from other ones that we're looking at, the other ones that we're comparing it to. So ideally, again, we want to see pretty much the same projects with most volume across multiple time frames, because what this would be telling us at this point is that there are projects that not only on a 24-hour time frame, but not only on a 1-hour time frame, and not only on a 15-minute time frame, but also on a 5 and a 1-minute time frame. If we can have some projects that are actually showing us consistent volume throughout these time frames, then this is telling us that over time, a particular project, if we happen to see it over and over and over again, that this project is in demand. And again, the reason we want to be going after these projects is because there's going to be lots more range to be playing within. And the range question, or the range, will be kind of jumping a lot deeper into today as we go along. Again, going to be dropping actually the link is already in there. For those in the Discord, if you guys have any questions, again, and if you guys would like to come up to the live stream and be heard, or would like your question to be answered on the stream itself, you guys can either click the link or type a question in the AMA chat as well. Again, don't be afraid to come up. I think the best way to learn is probably through multiple questions, especially through people who have utilized the platform itself. So I guess we'll dive into seeing if we have actually something in play right now. If anybody has any suggestions, you guys can definitely throw them on screen. If you guys are looking for a particular project that you're looking to go over, if somebody's in a particular play right now that has some type of movement, I would definitely be willing to go over that. I'm trying to look at the volume itself right now. I'm not seeing too much movement on intermediate time frames, meaning as of right now as we speak. But again, if somebody does have a project that they're looking at that does have some type of traction, definitely drop it in the comment, or don't be afraid to come up to the live stream and come and chat it up with us. So I guess I'll keep it up to the Discord. Does anybody have any project that they would like to overview on the view itself? Because personally, I'm not really seeing anything volume-wise that looks worth a damn, to be honest. Take a peek at Cube X. All right, let's do that. G to the O. Thank you for the suggestion, brother. Let's see what we got here. All right. What are you looking to do with this G to the O? I'm not picking on you. I know you just brought up your suggestion, but just trying to see the mindset going behind the suggestion in general. Zeki Meta looking for potential buy-in. Yeah, we'll definitely jump into that as well. So first, let's kind of jump into Cube X real quick, and then we'll definitely hop into Zeki Meta. Just jumping into the view itself. For those who are watching outside of the Discord, this is going to be the view extension, the official view extension. It is still in beta phase. It's a very in-depth extension, sniping tool that can be very useful if you know how to utilize it, and that's kind of what we're here to show today. So we're just going to kind of give a breakdown and an overview of kind of how Vue gives us the information and how we're able to utilize that and potentially use that as or turn that into potential strategy for potential either exits, entries, or anything that you're trying to do with the actual project. So let's jump right into it. Right here on the top left, you're actually going to have the project itself. You're also going to have the contract address right here. Also, all the links are going to be available as well. When you go to towards the middle, you have your token Id Lookup. So in this case, let's say you were looking for this particular NFT, number 6424. You can go ahead and type that 6424 and do a quick lookup on that NFT itself. And here, I guess we'll go top left to right. Same thing, you're going to have the linkable project link here. You're also going to have the buy now option, the view OpenSea option as well. Here you're going to have the rarity score, which is going to be considered the score or the algorithm that we're taking into consideration due to the number of traits or the number of those traits that are being held within the actual NFT, and they actually get put into basically a mean within all the trait values, and it gives it a particular score, which then gives it a particular rank. Notice the rarity rank color here is orange. And what that's telling us is that the confidence level of the algorithm that we have in place is at about 91%. And here you'll start to see that if you start getting to red confidence levels, this is saying that you're under, I believe it's 75%, which could probably mean that we are on the wrong algorithm rarity. So we can go into norm and count and potentially change that. There are certain cases where we will utilize these. Have not noticed too many cases where we do have to change the rarity counting. But yes, if you do happen to start to see lots of red confidence levels, then messing with the norm and the count rarity algorithm is going to help turn these potentially orange or green at that point. So definitely one thing to be looking at. Down here, you can start to see the activity that the actual NFT has gone through. So you can see where it minted, the date itself, potential transfers and sales that have gone through. If there was a pending transaction, meaning somebody was buying this as we speak, there would be a transaction going through here as well. So a neat little pop-up page that you're just able to get just by looking up the number of your NFT. Again, going to the right, we're going to have the markets that we're going to be able to toggle at this point. So being able to toggle different markets is very key to buying, because let's say you only wanted to toggle listings that came from OpenSea. You can see that this number up here, listings, when I start to toggle them on, it starts to change, because when I'm toggling these off, it's saying that I'm only highlighting the marketplace that I want to see listings on, which is OpenSea as of right now. If you only wanted to see LooksRare's listing, then you can toggle that. If you only wanted to see listings outside of OpenSea, then we can toggle that as well. This is going to be key to look at, because I know if you're buying outside of OpenSea, sometimes there are some NFTs that you buy through LooksRare or X2Y2 and you cannot actually sell on OpenSea. So that can be a kind of a useful tool to kind of utilize there as well. Going to the right again, we have our norm and our count, which is going to again mess with our rarity algorithm and how we kind of calculate that as well. Up here on the top right, we're going to have our default gas settings that we're going to pop up now. So our default set to priority 2 with our gas fee at 21.13. This rapid setting, you can toggle this to be 3 times, 4 times, whatever you'd like. I keep it at the normal. So if you have rapid set, this is the custom preset that it's actually sent to. Then you have your insane, which is going to be your 3rd slot for your gas preset, which is 3 times the initial default. And then you can come into here and also change or do custom preset gases as well. So if you guys are looking to snipe projects very quickly or with some type of strategy, that's definitely going to help you out there as well. Before I kind of jump onto anything or moving forward, were there any questions kind of going over the first portion I've kind of gone through? And we're kind of speeding through this a little bit, but we're going to start diving into the good stuff if we don't have any questions. Yeah, if you didn't mind, did you mind going through the actual link to kind of pop up through the live stream? Just so people on the live stream can hear you as well. Cool. And then I'm gonna bring you up right now. All right. You should be up, brother.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask you a question. Do you have a function to speed up your transaction?
Not a function to speed up the transaction. I think what you're kind of pointing toward is more of a node. We don't have an official node on
No,
us.
no, no,
There
no, no,
are,
no. I'm talking about speeding up the transaction. I mean, like, like speeding up the transaction, putting higher prior, higher max fee. No, no, not about
um,
private node. Yeah.
if you put a higher priority, you should get filled faster, but ideally, because that's basically the tip that's going to the miner at that point. So if you're paying a higher priority to the miner, they're
No,
likely to give you that quote
no,
unquote
I feel
priority.
you. I feel you. I mean, like the whole point of my question is like, if, for example, if I'm trying to snap a particular NFT or if a
Mm,
finger and I see a guy putting like 100 prior, 100 marks, right? And then
uh-huh,
like I put it like 80 prior only. I'd like to front run him, right? So
uh-huh.
I'm talking about like the option to like put I don't know 150 prior so that I could like get that NFT. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, so your best bet for that as of right now with us that with the view that is set right now, your
Yeah.
best bet to do is to have a custom set priority and gas fee for that. Um, it's
But
gonna
like,
be
yeah.
a little harder because each individual project is gonna be each priority and each gas fee is gonna be completely different based on the demand that's kind of coming in at that point. Because yeah, like you said, if somebody fat fingers something that's 1% of the floor price, that thing's gonna be gone in probably 2 seconds, realistically. If it's something that's just undercutting the floor just a little bit, then uh, that priority fee could be a lot different from the previous example that I showed. So that one's a little more. Uh, it's kind of a case by case basis, but I would say the best thing to do as of right now with the updates that we have is to have a custom set sniping bot for that. Like I mean, if you're willing to do the 80 priority or 100 priority, whatever you're willing to do, that's kind of based on what you're willing to risk right there. But um, that's an interesting
No, no, I feel
bringing
you.
up.
I'm just like trying to figure out what features you guys have, because like I'm using NFTs and say for sniping and like, so yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah,
I'll bring that to the team, see if we can kind of get something to. I hear you, to outsnipe the snipers pretty much.
yeah, front
Um,
runner, like outgas them or something like that.
yeah, yeah, that's I hear you. The keys to be the fastest.
Yeah,
So
sure.
yeah, as of right now, I think the answer to your questions, we don't have anything. The closest thing we would have is just setting a custom preset for gas, but definitely something I'll be mentioning to the team.
But at the same time, I'm using like my default MetaMask now, right? So if I want to
Mm,
use for example, RPC flashbots nodes, I'm free to do that, right?
correct.
Yeah, cool.
Mm, cool. Appreciate the question, brother. Thank you for coming up to the live stream.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop you down now. Again, if you had another question, you can just click that link again and I'll bring you right back up.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. We do have some questions in the queue, so let me get to those real quick. Ludo FP, the view my tokens feature is no longer there. Was a good one. View my tokens. I have to see what exactly that was. See my tokens. Oh, like your actual shark tokens? Is that what you're speaking about? I have to double check on that. Crypto JT, what's more accurate, the norm or the count? This is a good question. It's I do have to get more in-depth analysis on how these technically calculate, but it's not what's more accurate. It's just a different metric on how they're calculating. So if a project is not considering like rare traits um, as a main factor contribution to its actual rarity, then the count function is not really going to be something that's going to count, I guess pun intended, because again, if the rarity from the project itself is not considering the rarity for the traits that they're putting in, then it again doesn't really matter. I guess a plug kind of like Llamaverse itself, are the rarity traits for llamas technically don't really matter. So technically the rank for that project itself is kind of useless at that point, because again, it's all kind of based on what the project itself kind of considers what is rare. So again, these are just different metrics that we're using to calculate what are considered rare at that point. But yeah, I'll be definitely getting some more in-depth information on what exactly and how exactly the norm and count actually calculate the rarity algorithm. Definitely a good question. Keizo, y'all gotta add a button to quick copy the contract, adding the top left instead of highlighting and Control C. That's a good one. I like that a lot. I'm actually sending that to the team right now. Yeah, the point is to pretty much get major convenience to everybody. So you guys bringing in these suggestions is awesome. It's the little nooks and crannies, I think, that adds to the platform itself and can make us somewhat elite. I know that's not a major function, but I can definitely see some use in that. So appreciate that suggestion. All right. Actually gonna jump back up to Keizo's breakdown. He wanted Iseki Meta, I believe. I'm mispronouncing that. That is apologies. Oh, was it gonna reg me? Let's see. Ooh. All right. So, what you trying to do with this Keizo? Trying to find an entry? Is that what you were saying? Again, if anybody has a question, you guys can click the link I dropped inside the AMA. You guys can click that link and I can broadcast you guys up. You guys can share your screen if you'd like. Yeah, pretty much open to anybody kind of coming up. But what Keizo's asking is for a potential entry on this project itself. So what I like to do is I like to zoom out as far as I kind of can and start to see where are we within kind of the price action, what's kind of been happening. Are we basically, we just kind of want to figure out where we are. So again, I know not too much about this project, but from what this looks like, it looks like the mint out, people kind of selling up for profits. Then you kind of have this drop down zone where people were taking their profits, then people kind of getting the little dip buys, then potentially running it back up, but then not running it back up high enough to where we could have broke the last high. So we kind of go over this. If you've been to multiple sessions, this kind of pattern, I guess technical pattern pops up more times than not. And what I'm kind of seeing right now is I kind of drew this big trend line across because what I'm seeing is multiple things. One I'm seeing is an initial high. I always talk about creating ranges inside of these projects, and in order to create a range, you need two things. You need a high and a low. So that's exactly what we're drawing out. Here I'm drawing out my low. Here I'm drawing out my my last high. And again, we can start to see I'm drawing out or picking out the points where there's potential reversals happening. So initial low, initial high, initial low. But one thing I kind of tell people, especially regarding this type of pattern, is this pattern here is going to be bullish as long as we don't break beneath our first low. because what this is telling us is if buyers are buying at a higher low, that is telling us that buyers are willing to pay a premium at this point. And when buyers are willing to pay premiums, that is telling us that there is some type of demand flowing through at that point. And again, demand is one of the key things that we're going to want to be looking at due to the fact that it can create a major volatility if the conditions are kind of set up correctly. So that is one key factor to look at. If our initial low happens to get broken, kind of like we did here, notice the price action reaction that happens once we start to break under that zone. Notice you start to see lots more reds kind of happening at this point. And what's that telling us? What are we filtering by right now? We're filtering by P&L, meaning every person or every cell that's going on through here, if it's red or if it's green, that person who has sold it has made a profit. If it's red, the person who has sold it has officially made a deficit or a loss. So again, notice much more greens above us, right, when we're selling above the initial low. But notice what starts to happen when we start getting towards the where we start breaking the initial low. So near this area here, there's a lot more reds going on than greens at this point. And this is because buyers are not paying a premium anymore. And this is something that we're definitely going to want to be looking at. We want to know the reason. Why are these buyers not paying the premium? Is there some type of fundamental reason? Is there some type of technical reason? And that's kind of when we start jumping into the upper portions that I'm going to be highlighting up here. So one of the main things I like to be looking at for a potential dip buy is supply and owner ratio. Personally, I like to have that to be above 50%. That's just my personal liking. I've seen it working up to like 35%, maybe. That's on the lower end. But basically, I want I want pretty much as close of a 1-to-1 owner to supply ratio as I can. So if the supply is 7.6, 7.7, ideally, I know it's probably not feasible, but I ideally want that same amount of owners, because what that would be telling me is that there's not many quote unquote big money or big holders or stakeholders that can dump a whole quote unquote bag onto the person that's buying, which would be myself. So this is what I call making our walls that we're trying to get through, like our cell walls. I'm calling those thinner cell walls. So the higher the owner supply ratio, ideally the thinner the walls are to get through. Just think about it from a psychological side on a seller perspective. So if you had one NFT and most other people only had one NFT, you're more likely to hold on to that single NFT a lot longer than you would as opposed to if everybody had 10 NFTs. You'd probably be a lot more willing to let go of a few NFTs as opposed to everybody just had a single one. So that's a major factor that I personally like to look at. Again, because it's directly correlated to supply and how our supply is going to be reacting with the actual price action itself. Next thing I like to look at for potential swing trades is going to be this number right here, NBCP. It's a very, very key number that I like to hone in on. And this number right here, 14.17%, is actually pretty solid. For swing trades, I like pushing that like 7 to 10% range. Once you start pushing that, that's when you start getting into zones where you're starting to get more eyes onto the project. You're starting to get more social presence onto the project itself. Not only that, but you're getting a a broader audience at that point, because what next blue chip or NBCP is actually going to stand for is next blue chip probability. And basically what that's doing is taking what's considered blue chip projects and those owners within the project that we're looking at, how many they own, who owns it, and throws it all into a mean and gives us a percentage. So ideally, the higher the percentage, the more quote unquote bigger money is kind of in the project. Again, with bigger money or more eyes on it, the more potential demand that we're going to be looking for. So ideally, we want this number to be rising over time if we're going to be looking for a potential dip buy. Next thing, average mint is something to also look at. Pretty neat metric because, again, if this was a free mint, this would be something that'd be super tremendous. But sitting at 0.21, sitting at 2 times its floor, it's still not too bad. So yeah, just good to know kind of where we started off from. Active listings. This is going to be one of the major metrics we're going to be honing in on very heavily. Because again, it's one of the factors that's directly correlated to supply in our supply and demand model. Because yeah, we know that the total supply is not going to change. We know that's stagnant. There's never going to be another Iseki meta printed within this actual contract. We know that. But what can be changed is the amount of listings being posted. So the total active listings that are being posted is huge, because this metric itself is telling us, it's giving us an idea of the holders. How bullish are they on this project, or is there a reason for them to actually be holding this project? So ideally, what I like to see is under 10% of the supply being listed at a time, because what that's going to tell me is that our walls, again, are going to be thinner to get through. I'd rather get through 500 listings, so that's what, less than 10%. Then I would be getting at 5,000 listings here, because again, it's much easier to push through 10% as opposed to 90% of the supply. I kind of go to the Three Little Pigs analogy for this. If we're the big bad wolf trying to get some ETH profits, we're gonna want very thin walls to kind of push through. Like, we're gonna want straw houses to get through. We want the easy stuff to kind of come in, as opposed to again, bigger active listings with higher percentage of the supply. Again, that would be more of a brick house kind of analogy at that point, because again, it's a lot harder to push that demand through unless we have some type of catalyst that is pushing us for that. So active listings is going to be a very, very key metric for us to be looking at this point. Floor price, pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be the actual floor of the project at the time itself. 1 hour delistings, just showing us the amount of delistings within the last hour. And you're actually able to tell that with the yellow highlight here. Notice these three have yellow highlights within the actual trades and delistings tab, while the one right beneath it, this one, is kind of grayed out, and all of these are kind of grayed out. What the yellow is indicating is just that it is actually a delisting and not an actual sale. So kind of cool to be able to distinguish that. 24-hour volume to look at, because again, we want to know, is there demand coming into the project that we're looking at? Definitely a key metric to look at. Then we start getting into the next little portion, which is going to be 1-day sales, 1 hour sales, and 10-minute sales. And again, I think these are key metrics because these, again, directly correlate to demand. And pretty self-explanatory. 1-day sales can be the last sales within the last 24 hours. sales 1 hour, sales within the last hour, sales last 10 minutes, sales in the last 10 minutes. The other thing that we're going to be looking at is the little percentages that are right next to them. And what those are indicating is just the percentage change over the time frame that we're looking at. So over the last 24 hours, we've had a decrease in sales at negative 16.57%. So that's telling us demand is actually decreasing over the day. But look at the next metric here. Over the last hour, we're up 16.67%. So that's telling us that there's demand coming on within the hour itself. This is going to say infinity because there's probably 0 sales within the last 10 minutes. So 0 times anything is going to be 0. So that's why it's picking up that metric. But you're also going to be able to pick these metrics up here and put them inside of a custom template right here. So let's say you wanted a full week's worth of data, and let's say you wanted let's say 12 hours and you wanted 30 minutes. So oops, I did that right. Yeah, there you go. So now you can see that this data is still here, staying up top, but I'm still getting more data from the customized set that we can do here. One thing to note though, when you guys are doing these metrics, they are going to be limited to 3,000 events due to the speed purposes that we're trying to keep here at Sharks. There will be a view where we will get all time data, but for the most part, trading momentum and quicker plays, this 3,000 metric should be solid enough for you. Just keep note if you're looking for longer term swings that, yeah, these 3,000 events are going to be only seen back for 3,000 events. So definitely something to also be looking at as well. I believe Keizo had another question. Let me pop that up on screen. Question about average mint. If there's a project with whitelist mint for 2,500 for 0.1 and public sales for 2,500 for 0.2, the average mint will show 0.15. I believe so. I believe the metric actually gets calculated from first initial buys, and it should take, I could be wrong on this, I have to double check this, but I believe it's a 24-hour time frame that it gets calculated within. So whatever gets averaged out at that point is the number that we should see over time. I will get the exact calculation on that for you, but I believe that's pretty much how it's calculated, yes. Good question. Cool. So I guess going back to the initial question of looking for the potential dip buy at this point, there's a few things I'm going to want to be looking at. First is, where are we sitting at? So we're sitting right at about the 0.4 or 0.41, which is our first initial low. So that's telling us, hey, we're potentially finding a potential support around this area, because again, this is where most initial sellers were kind of getting their sells in at. And just the one key metric that we have to see is that if we start to break the last low, we're likely going to see price action just as we did here. So if we are looking for the potential dip buy, just know that once you start seeing the break below, again, the last low, which is probably around that 0.4 area, we're likely just going to keep heading down in this zone if our listings start going up, which again is adding to our supply or active supply. In that case, but we can also see that there's not much volume kind of happening here at this point. Notice we got the increase in volume here because notice the zone that we were at. We snapped right below our initial first low. And that's again, if buyers were buying up here for a premium, why would they, or the smarter buyers, be not buying at this point? So one of the key things to get the potential breakout that you're looking for is going to be active listings to be going down, even though they're already below 10%. You're still going to want to be seeing this going down over time, and you're going to want to be seeing sales starting to rise. You're going to want to start seeing some type of demand coming in here. This one's kind of crazy. I really like the MBCP. I like the active listings. And what I'm also really liking is that there's lots of greens here on our sell walls. So for those who haven't seen the bottom portion of the charts, we have different metrics by holders. So if a particular person who's selling has one token or one NFT, they're only going to pop up as a green bar on our chart. So again, going back to the three little pigs analogy, if you have a green token, that's kind of like the straw house analogy at that point, because it's a very thin wall. And if you only have one of something, you're more likely to kind of hold on to it a little longer. So that's going to be that metric. Then you're going to have your orange metric, which is going to be 2 to 4 tokens. And at that point, it's pretty much telling us the same thing. Just if you're happening to sell an NFT of this project, that you have 2 to 4 tokens that you hold potentially. And again, this is kind of telling us, hey, it's bullish, just not as bullish as the green one, because again, you have a little more that you can play with. You have a little bigger bag that you can kind of release. And that's kind of the key thing, right? We're looking to keep listings down and for buyers to keep buying it up. It's kind of counterintuitive if we start to see bigger people with more NFTs at that point, unless they have some type of incentive to keep holding on to those NFTs. So I guess jumping into the blue and the purple metric, the blue metric is going to show us people who are selling with 5 to 9 tokens of the NFT. And again, that's kind of getting more to the kind of brick house analogy of the three little pigs. It's kind of a heftier house because people have bigger bags to kind of dump on us. And purple is literally the brick house. That's 10 plus tokens of the actual NFT. So again, if you have more of something, you're more likely to have to dump the actual project itself. So yeah, ideally we'd want to be seeing more greens and more yellows at this point, unless there's some type of news catalyst that tells them, hey, if you own let's say 5 to 10 Iseki metas, then you get X benefit, or some type of catalyst that incentivizes holders to get more and to hold on to them at that point. We just don't want, it's fine for holders to have numerous of the project, because that could just be a totally bullish sign that people just love the project and just want numerous of them. But it's a better case when there's some type of catalyst for them to not release their NFTs back into the total, I guess, circulating supply. So yeah, right now we're kind of just ranging, but I'm seeing this little triangle formation. Honestly, if you're looking for the dip, I'd be looking for, I mean, pretty much the break of this trend line, that 0.35 zone potentially. If it starts breaking that, I mean, it looks like it could retest that 0.32, 0.3. But yeah, once you start retesting lows, you need some type of demand to come in, because if not, you're just going to start seeing active listings doing what they're doing right now. I mean, I know it's not as much, but this is not the type of stuff we want to see near these potential points, because we're near a breakout zone. We could easily break out. We have less than 10% active listings. We just need the demand. Notice there's no purple in our middle section. We have no sales going on here. We have 4 sales in the last 30 minutes, which is pretty much nothing. And these green and red bars are just showing us active listings, showing us active listings are increasing, and we have no sales. Sales are flat. So what should that be doing to price? If we have listings increasing and we have no sales going on, just think about what these 10 plus token holders and 5 to 9 plus token holders are doing. If this person's like, oh shoot, nobody's buying within the last 20 minutes, and I have 10 of these things and nobody's buying them, I'm probably gonna want to sell 1, 2, or a few to mitigate risk at that point. And we can probably see what these people are doing here. And it's not many, but that's kind of something we're going to want to be on the look for, because again, as a buyer and looking for a dip buy, we want our walls to be thinner. We want to be able to kind of get through that with the breeze. And it's kind of a little tougher when we have bigger holders kind of dumping on us, because if something happens to go wrong, or if they're not happy with their position not getting filled, they can just undercut themselves until they get filled. And again, that's only one person having that mindset. Imagine if that's 10, 20, 30 people with 10 plus tokens. That can get ugly really fast. So again, that's kind of the more subtle approach on watching the sell walls, but that's definitely one of the ways to kind of utilize to see and kind of factor in how to kind of look at these points, and as opposed to just kind of tossing money into it. So I guess longer question or longer answer to your question, Keizo, is I think we're near a potential dip buying zone, but again, we're near pretty much the last low, and there's not much. I mean, we have one sale that just went through about 20 seconds ago. I'm not 100%. Just over time, this pattern over time, if it can hold that 0.4, I do like this over time. But if you snap that 0.4, that's going to be something tougher to kind of get through, because that means everybody off of the mint is most likely going to be red on the trade, as we're seeing. You can kind of see with the blue box outline and the purple box outline. Notice how many more reds there are within the purple as opposed to the inside the blue. Again, because that's saying that all these people that end up selling here probably ended up buying above this line here. So again, them paying premiums, and yeah, that's pretty much one thing we're going to want to see. We're going to want to see the demand coming in, which is directly going to be correlated to volume. And yeah, I think if you could get volume and some type of news catalyst, I think this has nice potential range. 0.4 range is a really nice range to play within, and you're sitting right at that bottom zone. So I like it. I mean, I'm not too into the like fundamentals or what's behind the actual project, but technically wise, I like it. I guess I'm gonna open up the floor a little bit. Again, for anybody who's in the Discord, if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to either type them out, or if you guys would like to come up and either share your screen or do a audio question, you guys can click the link I posted in AMA chat, and I can bring you up to the live stream itself. But we are pushing about the hour mark. I again appreciate kind of everybody coming down. I know you guys don't have to be here. If you guys are watching outside of the Discord, I hope this has been somewhat informative for you guys. Yeah, this can be a really useful tool for those who are looking to potentially snipe momentum, or just looking to follow price action. It's really good practice to kind of see these technical patterns that happen over and over and over again, no matter what project we're kind of looking at. Yeah. I see 13th in the queue again. Not sure if you had another question. Let's see. Alright. I have you up again, 13th. Not sure if you have a question.
No, no, no. I don't have any questions. Like I didn't click anything.
Oh,
I'm just
cool.
answering. I like the
Gotcha.
thing. No, no. I just wanted to mention like the thing you're trying to analyze the chart of, for example, this came at right, and you said like you got only let's assume, I don't know, like 3,000 sales, right? But at the same
Hmm.
time, like you don't see the whole chart, and you could see that like it went down to, if you use another tool that would show you that like the whole chart, I mean like something like Prospect.finance that I used to in terms of charging, right? It would show you the whole chart, and you would like see like that the very bottom was something like 0.2 and that and that. So yeah, yeah, I'm just saying like that's it, like you got only like 3,000 sales, and
Hmm.
probably sometimes you may not see like the whole situation, like the same
Yep.
thing with cats. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's why I tell people to kind of look out, because you have to know what type of play that you're utilizing with the view extension itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even the bottom portion here, let me take off the caption real quick. The bottom portion here, you can see the time frame that's kind of being shown. Let me erase all of this. The time frames that are being shown here are calculated. It's only about the last 25 minutes, and under the listings here, it's only about the last hour. So this information within these boxes here are only valid within these time frames. We will be getting where we can customize them and ideally get all-time data through them, but I believe that will be through a different view. But yes, definitely something to keep a note on if you're looking to swing. If there's 3,000 transactions and let's say it's been out for 60 something days, it's only going to calculate the last 3,000 sales that have actually transacted. So yeah, like you were saying, if you're looking for all-time data and you're missing some prints or it doesn't look like it's all there, then that's one of the things to kind of note is that, again, it's only 3,000 transactions that it goes back.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Like
Mhm.
if you, I mean, like people's trying to.
Mhm. Peace. Right. Yeah. They should be correlating at this point because what this is saying here, this listings tab, is just telling us the amount of listings that are being posted. Look. Um, yeah, so you can see I guess this white line here is going to be your amount of listers that are kind of happening at the point. The other metrics are going to be, well, listers are kind of all considered the same, but listing here on the graph, they're going to be considered green and red. And those two are kind of indicating two different indicators. The green listing is saying that this is the first time that we've seen the person who's actually listing list their NFT. The red one, which there was a red one that popped up, I guess it went away right now. It's saying that they're relisting for down counts, meaning basically what that's saying is that they had an initial listing and they said that that listing was pretty much not enough for them and they wanted to get out of their position as fast as they could and got below that listing that they had listed before. So basically they just undercut themselves. Um, so that listing itself that's gonna be a major metric that we're gonna want to be looking at. I can see the confusion that's kind of going on. I think because 0 is going to be our middle line. Just because these numbers are negative, it's not calculating delistings. It's just calculating listings just on an opposite metric. So these are all positive numbers in the actual chart. But yeah, this should be correlated with the amount of listings that are going on here. So listings within the last, let's say from 20. So here we had 2 listings, let's see, 2 listings, 3 listings, 4 listings, 5 listings, 6, 7 listings, 8, 9 listings. And we can see we've jumped just about 9 listings from about 20. So 498 to 507. So yeah, those directly correlate. It should be that should be visually. How do they correlate? That would be, yeah. That's a great question. I do like to utilize this again for more faster momentum plays. I could show this on, that's why I like to ask for projects that have some type of movement, because again, going back to the time frame that they're calculating on, these are only pretty much going to correlate within that time frame because we cannot change the time as of right now. Let's see if we can find something live actually that has some type of movement. Oh, let's see this. What's this? All right. Again, I have no idea what this is. Not financial advice or anything, guys. Please do not take this as financial advice. So again, just for process purposes, looking at this project and have no idea what this is, what it's doing, when it came out. I have no idea. Again, we're just looking at this from the charting perspective. So if I'm looking at this here, what I'm going to want to be seeing is, okay, I want to see the range. Again, in order to create the range, we need a top and a bottom, right? I see a top, I see a bottom. And you can pick this portion here too, and it doesn't really matter. As long as you have a top and a bottom, that's your spiel. So here, this is going to be our complete range from now. So I'm seeing 0.05 to, let's call it 0.1. So we have a 0.05 range that we're kind of playing within. Cool. We have that figured out. We also want to be looking at, again, our listings here that it's kind of happening. It's probably not a good example because it probably just minted out or is just minting, but nonetheless, again, we're going to want to be looking here on this graph first. And ideally, I talk a lot about divergence that's kind of happening. So again, if we're looking for a buy, we're going to want to be looking for listings to be going down, correct? So ideally, when listings are going up, that's kind of how we're seeing these correlate. When the red and the green start to make I guess lower lows in this case, that means our listings are actually getting higher highs. So basically they're opposites like in visuals, but they're pretty much telling us the same thing, just in different metrics. Ideally, over time, we want, again, our listings to be going more towards 0 in this graph, which more towards 0 in this graph is going to be down. So ideally, we want to see listings go down, and we want our price or sales count to be going up. So if we can see kind of this upward trend of demand rising and supply going down, that's a major metric for us to say, hey, this is probably the swing of potential trend incoming at this point. But if we start to get the opposite of that, meaning sales decreasing and listings increasing, notice this is opposite That's kind of happening here. Our listings are increasing. Over time, I'm expecting price to drop at this point because, again, listings are directly correlated to our supply. And it goes back to the walls. Notice here how thicker our walls were within the last project that we were looking at. There's a lot more green in the other project as opposed to orange and blue that is kind of popping up here. And might not be a great example because it's literally just minting out. I think just minted within the last 20 minutes. But I guess how to utilize these are going to be pretty much to see the potential reversals. So I'm hoping we're kind of pushing the time limit here, but over time, if you can start to see listings kind of get to an apex point or pretty much a peak, and you can start to see listings starting to curve down a little bit, and our volume here on the 1 minute start to turn the other way, meaning our sales starting to increase over time with listings starting to go down. That's going to be a potential reversal point at that zone. That's kind of how to utilize it. Again, I wish we kind of had a better I guess live view on something, but that's kind of the gist of how to utilize that. Hope that kind of answered your question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exactly inverse of the other. It's just showing us a different view of it. Again, we're trying to figure out different charting points and different viewpoints to kind of give us the best, I don't know, visual aid. Because again, all traders are different. So if anybody has any other kind of suggestions on kind of how to make this better, how to optimize it, definitely you can shoot me a message or type it in chat and I can shoot that to the team, because again, we're trying to make this platform as efficient as possible, not only for us but for the people who are actually going to be utilizing it. So yeah, appreciate that feedback. Green said nice setup. Thank you, Green. Trying to up the ante per se. So going to see if we can keep this going. Des94 has a question. Can you look at sociopath? Yeah, let's take a look. Does that have some action? Jeez, how do you spell that? Sociopath. This one. Ooh. Okay. And the reason I say ooh on this one, I like the pattern better on this one already, just off the bat. And because I'll kind of break down what I'm kind of seeing just off initial view. Again, I like to be where the price action is at, and I'm seeing pretty much a high here. You can again use these ones. I just like to be where the price action is, so I'm gonna use this high and this low that we have. So we had our high and low. That's pretty much 0.02, 0.01. Here, I'm liking that. Again, remember we're talking about getting the rip up, then the rip down. And remember the rip down, if the rip down doesn't break the last low that we had, this is a bullish sign at this point. And wish again we had the data to show us these charts at this point. This would be very beneficial, which we're actually really trying to do, because this is going to help out the learning process a ton. Because I promise you at this point that we were seeing our listings starting to decrease, kind of like we're seeing now, and our sales started to rise with our listing starting to decrease. And again, this is why showing it live is a little harder, because we have to have some type of price action that's showing it. But this is a pretty solid example, I think, right now. So notice that we had the pullback and again didn't break last low. So now this is our next initial low. I'm considering this as a low, and we're just going to be creating again, and let's pick out our range. How do we create a range? Picking out a high and a low. So a high and our last low. We're at 0.02 to 0.05. So now we're within a 0.03 range. And yeah, notice that hard across this is being utilized as a support zone. So very key factor to kind of look at. And let's see as far back as these time frames go, and let's kind of see why the price action starts to move the way it has been. This here 1900 is kind of a key factor for me, because again, we're starting to kind of do the same pattern, rip up, get this last low. But did our last low break the last low that we just created? No. So it's technically bullish at that point. But notice in order for us to keep getting, I guess, these breakouts, major breakouts, we need to break the last high. And is that possible? Showing from 1900, we can see the listings have started to decrease at this point from about 1930 to about 2015. So we can see from 1900 to about 2015, what has actually happened to our price. Notice our sales have actually started to rise, but our listings are actually going down over time. We can see that our price is actually reacting with that, because again, if we have less listings that are going through, meaning our walls are a lot thinner, we have demand coming in at that point, that's telling us buyers are still paying the premium at this point, meaning there's some type of incentive for people to be getting in. And again, we want to be in zones where we're getting breakouts higher than the last breakout, because going back to the last example, there's a lot more reds when we start to go higher, as opposed to breaking lows, because that means people are actually losing money from, I guess, breaking the prior lows. So definitely one to be looking at. I like this as a live example, which would have caught it a little bit earlier, but yeah, I think we're kind of in this range right now. And if you can happen to break out of this last high, that can be something that can have potential run. One thing you're going to want to be looking at, again, for longer term swing, is for this MBCP to be rising over time. It's going to be one of the major factors I see kind of, I guess, degen plays, or I guess free mints, the ones that actually work out over time, like the longer term ones, they have solid MBCPs rising over time. So solid example. I really like this pattern that we're kind of playing out. And again, if you guys can draw out the ranges, that's something to definitely keep out an eye for. Green. I was confused about the bottom two charts as well. Yeah, it's not too self-explanatory, but again, as we kind of overlook these projects over time, and the more sessions we kind of go over them, the more we'll be able to see the correlation on kind of how they work out. So yeah, we'll definitely be helping out with that. Another question: your thoughts on meta mentions by keys? No one person user experience at long-term hold. It seems like it's doing great. Let's check that out. Let's see. Oops. It was Meta Mansions by keys. Okay. Okay, 2000. That's good. And just checking back to see to see if we're calculating all the data as of right now. Let's see. That's over time. Damn, that's it. 2 ETH, huh? That's crazy. I'm seeing again, a range kind of within this 2 ETH to, what's this bottom? 0.15. So about 0.15 to that, what is that? 0.15 to to 2 ETH. That's pretty solid range there. And we're sitting pretty much at the bottom of the range. Again, have no idea about the fundamental, but again, over time, if you have conviction on a project and you can utilize what we're using, such as like the technical indicators, those happen to work out a lot better over time because they have fundamental news behind it, and usually what fundamental news leads to some type of news catalyst in the future, such as potential collaborations or potential just news catalysts like marketing, or it could be anything, partnership, collabs, just anything to get people kind of eyes on the project. So I'm a fan of buying stuff near bottom zones, and risking whatever you're willing to lose. I see the bottom at 0.15. That would probably be my risk if I can risk 0.1. So 0.15 is the zone. I buy one at 0.25. The next one here is already at 0.1, which is my risk. To get through to the next 0.4, 0.45 is not that many tokens, and it's only about 11 tokens to get there. 14 tokens, 13, around 13 tokens to get there. So that's not that bad to push through. Again, I like buying near the bottom zones because my risk is very mitigated, because the potential upside is huge. If you're risking 0.1 to make potentially 1 ETH, that's 10 times risk reward ratio, which, I mean, that's huge. I'd be taking that twice on Sundays, every Sunday. So that's kind of how I utilize the ranges at that point, with more, I guess, fundamental based projects. But yeah, I like this, especially active listings. Not sure if owner supply, if they have some type of staking mechanism. If that number is true, that's kind of off for me. But active listings is very key, and ideally, just want this MBCP to be rising over time as well. But I guess longer term play, if you're looking for something like that, that's already not a bad idea, to be honest. Yeah, because you already have the delta at 0.1. Like if you buy this one right here, you can list it for 0.34 and potentially get a sell, and you'd already be making what you'd be risking. So yeah, nice bring up. Yes, they do have staking. Always working on partnerships. Thank you for input. Yeah, no worries. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, guys. Coming back to about an hour and a half now. Again, gonna open this up to kind of anybody in the Discord. If you guys had any questions, comments, concerns, if you guys wanted to come up to the live stream, that would be awesome. If you guys wanted to type in AMA chat, we can pop the chat overlay up and get those questions answered. But yeah, for those watching on Twitter and Twitch, hope you guys have gotten some insight on the Alpha Sharks view, and kind of how to utilize it, and kind of the direction that we're going for to make this a better user-friendly experience for people who are actually going to utilize it. So yeah, appreciate kind of everybody being here and stopping by. Gonna give it about a minute or two to see if anybody has any questions. If not, we will end the stream and we will end up having another stream on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern for those who are looking to get another session or another live stream view. Okay, not seeing any questions, comments, or concerns. Again, kind of going to leave it open to people in the Discord. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, please drop them in the AMA chat. If not, I will start wrapping it up. But yeah, again, if you guys have any questions regarding the tool itself, how to read any of the charts or any of the initial indications that we haven't gone over in this session, you can ping me, you can tweet me, you can DM me. I'm open on all time frames, all platforms. Yeah, I'm here for you guys. And if you guys have sat through this, the holders, I believe, will be in a raffle for $100 in ETH. So again, I appreciate your guys' time coming down here and spending the time with me, asking the questions. I think it's really beneficial to the people who are coming down here and just looking to get better and put in the work to make this platform better overall. So yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. Oh, we do have a question. Green. What's your thoughts on AI Nightbirds? I saw those pushing earlier. Let's see what they're at now. It was either that or let's see. AI Nightbirds. Is it this one? Not AI Nightbirds? Nope, probably not. Used to be AI Moonbirds. Let's see. Not sure. I'm not catching that, Green. If you can DM me the link, that would be awesome. I'll get back to you on that. But for the time being, I'm going to end the live stream. Appreciate all you guys being here. Jap is not here. We will actually be taking a screenshot of all the people who have been here throughout the session, and we will be doing a live video stream for the people who are eligible for the $100 ETH giveaway. So again, appreciate you guys coming down. Hope you guys are liking the new setup. Should be a lot cleaner and more efficient coming up soon. So yeah, any feedback you guys have, any criticisms would be awesome. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today, guys. Again, we're gonna have another session on Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, if anybody's interested in that. We do have that linked in media announcements. If you guys have not clicked the interested button to get pinged whenever that starts, definitely go check that out. For those on Twitter and Twitch, again, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, if you guys are looking for another insight or overview on the View extension itself. So again, appreciate you guys coming down. Hope you guys had taken something out of this, and may your guys' bags be pumped, and I will see you guys on Friday.